welcome to the SFBN. It's soccer season here, and we're excited to break down soccer games all across the state of Pennsylvania, both boys and girls. We've got a great show for you tonight. Stay tuned on In the Goal. Welcome to In the Goal. I'm your host, Stephen Schreiber, and I'm joined by my good friends Jeff Kapp and Ryan Haney. Ryan is the coach of Archbishop Ryan. Guys, great to see you again. How you doing?
It's great to be here. Always happy to talk about soccer.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. It's doing well. It's good to get another week of soccer talk.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start right now with the top 10 boys in the state. Obviously, leading the way is Conestoga. You know, not only are they number one in the state, but other sources like the Fab 50 from Top Drawer Soccer has them rated number one in the nation, followed by LaSalle, Central Bucks West, Parkland, Peters Township, Cathedral Prep, Elizabethtown, Holy Ghost Prep, Gettysburg, and State College. You know, I mean, those are just some really dominant teams. Ryan, you know well, 3 of your losses this season have come to teams on that list.
Yes,
I mean,
you'll see this is the first release of the rankings by the Pennsylvania State Coach Association. And Ryan, we've played 3 of the top 10. We've played LaSalle, we've played Holy Ghost Prep, and we've played CB West. I mean, there are 3 losses this year. Very strong teams. Again, and Conestoga I haven't seen play, but it's funny. I was talking to the boys about it, how our 3 losses, and they said, "Man, we'd like to play Conestoga." Everybody wants a shot at Conestoga now.
It's good that they want to do that. That's good.
So. It's exciting, and you're going to see this change throughout the year. Some of those teams below, I think there's some in consideration. Council Rock North, I think I saw Cumberland Valley. I mean, there's a few other teams that are in consideration. You're going to see some exciting things in the next week or so, 2 weeks. They do it like every 2 weeks. They come out with some rankings.
I mean, you've played the number 2 team, the number 3 team, and currently the number 8 team in the state.
Yes.
That's some big challenges right there.
That's a tough start to the season right there.
But it's good to get that going early in the season and get them a taste of real strong competition. So when it comes time to be tested in late October, early November, they're ready.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Again, you don't know that these teams are going to be ranked when you schedule them.
That's right.
It's a good, I'm looking forward to see how we, play the next week or so in the Catholic League and get some of those teams. But with the losses and that, you're learning so much from a loss. You get to take away so much from your team, and you get to grow so much. And the kids are upbeat. They're excited. I mean, we had a great practice today about it. So I love the fact that those teams are in there, and we've had a chance to see them, see what the best has got in the state of Pennsylvania. And,
You have good athletes. Was that your game against Holy Ghost? We'll talk about it in a minute. You have very good athletes, real nice players. We could talk about Conestoga for a second.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
We mentioned Conestoga the last couple of weeks here. They are now 9-0. They play in the Central League, and they have pretty much dominated every game.
Yeah.
So they're 41 goals for, 11 goals against.
Wow.
I'm surprised they have 11 goals against, but they are coached by David Zimmerman, and they are, as we have mentioned, the number 1 team in the nation.
Yeah.
Out of 100,000 soccer teams, I'm guessing.
Yeah, somewhere.
It might be 100,000. I don't know, but
it's impressive.
There's a lot of high schools.
Yeah.
And they are ranked number 1, which is quite an honor. And I believe it's 2 weeks in a row now.
Yes.
So their next game is against the Haverford School.
Right.
To distinguish between Haverford High School, which is the public school, and the Haverford High School, which is the private school, which is a very strong program, and that's part of the Interac,
Right.
the private school league. So they play the Haverford School. They play Strathaven, which is a league game, also a big
strong
program,
District 1 team.
And Garnet Valley down the road a bit, October 5th and October 10th, Pencrest. October 17th is probably their toughest challenge against Lower Merion.
It's a strong schedule.
Yeah.
It's a strong district they're in.
They may both go in there undefeated at that point, Lower Merion and Conestoga. So hopefully we're going to cover that game in about a month. I think.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, love to see an undefeated matchup that late in the season. Really, it would really be I mean, great for the state.
When you have a team in the state that's number one, it also draws attention to a couple of those other teams that are ranked right below them. And they just released LaSalle's 19th in the country, I saw on a paper. So, again, that helps when you have a team in the state that strong. Yeah. It draws attention to other teams in the state, and everyone's going to, I mean, they're all talking about them. It's impressive.
Yeah. And soccer is big in Pennsylvania, but it's really big in southeastern Pennsylvania. We were talking before we went on the air. Most of these teams, even the honorable mention teams, are from District 1, District 3, District 12. There's one from District 12. But the majority, 80, 90% of them, are from our area.
Right. Out of District 1.
Yeah, and District 3 too, yeah.
Well, moving onto your game earlier this week, Archbishop Ryan versus Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost came away with the win, 3-1.
Yes.
Coach, I mean, from what I've heard, it was a physical matchup late in the game. What can you tell me about the game?
The first 10 minutes, they scored 2 free kick goals, back posts, both with their head. I think the game from that point on settled down a little bit from both ends. They have 2 up top strikers, Mike Fife and
Connor
Fife, yes, and number 11.
Ethan
There you go. And them 2 were a handful for us. And their center back, I think, wound up with the goal on the one, the taller kid. He had the one back post. So again, we go down 2-0 to start, and then we settle in. I thought we had some chances, and then we get to halftime. We're able to make some adjustments. We changed how many midfielders we play. We went a little bit different structure. We went a little bit outside wide, and we get a goal 4 minutes in.
Yes, you did.
And Will Stackhouse scored a nice goal off a controversial on one end, but he finishes a nice goal. And then the game changed a little bit. We started getting chances, and we started taking to them. And I thought we were going to get one. I thought it was coming, and as the time ticked away, we took a late chance on a free kick. Didn't go our way. They countered, and they scored a goal with 11 seconds left, which happened to be another back post head ball goal.
Back post head.
So all 3 goals were back post off the heads.
I mean, outside the first 10 minutes, you took it to them. I mean, 1-1 throughout the whole game. Kapp, you were at the game.
I was at the game,
watching the game. From a fan's perspective, what did you see?
Well, I would like to give you that perspective, except I was there as a reporter and a photographer. So when I'm doing photography work and reporting at the same time, it's difficult for me to look at the game, as a casual observer. So it's much different. I'm working. Yeah. I'm looking through the lens and so on. So I miss things in regard to that. But from what I saw, it was a very physical game. There was 19 fouls in the first half, and I thought there could have been more.
Really, that many?
More called, probably, I guess, early on. It was a physical game, and in my photos, there was a lot of elbows and hands to the face, and a lot of people holding each other, and a lot of great athleticism off the ground, a lot of 50-50 head balls I saw.
A lot of these kids,
terminology?
Yeah, a lot of these kids go to grade school together.
Yeah.
We're very close, even though it's a non-league battle. Right? Coach Ken Lawson and myself known each other growing up. I played for his brother.
You guys look
Dane.
friendly.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Kenny and I have known each other a long time. He does a
good.
great job. He was the coach when they won their 2 state titles a couple years ago, back to back.
And he's a graduate of Ghost.
He is a graduate of Ghost. His brothers and his sisters are graduates of Ryan. So we have some blood there back and forth.
It's a good rivalry.
The sisters show up with the Ryan hoodies and let them know who they're rooting for. So it's
the Ragdolls.
But again, Kenny has a great squad.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see how he does the rest of the season in the Bicentennial League. He's looking to make another run in the state title, and he believes he can.
Are they the best team in the Bicentennial? I would think so.
I would believe so. I mean,
ranked number 8 in the state.
Yeah.
Big schools. They are a 4A school?
They are a 3A, I believe.
Are they 3A?
Yeah, I think the Big A, so the rankings does 3A and 4A together for the rankings, and they'll do 1 and 2 together for the other. So I believe they're 3A.
But you are 4A.
We are 4A, yes.
Which is the highest classification for soccer. Yeah.
Which the most amount of teams competing for state titles is in 3A, though. Which people know that. There's more competition at the 3A level.
I mean, you don't get a choice, right? It's by enrollment.
It is what it is.
It's by enrollment. I think, are you allowed to ask to play up? Is that legit?
So Catholic League will allow you to represent the bigger schools if you want to, if you win the Catholic League title. We're one of the few districts that allow that. The other district, District 1, wherever you qualify, you're qualified for, and that's where you play. I don't think you can play up in the state.
We're gonna move on just quickly, and we're gonna look at the Hatboro Horsham versus Plymouth White March, where Hatboro got the win 2-1. Just a solid win for them to start early in the season. Kapp,
Yeah.
what about this game caught your eye?
Well, it was interesting. It's a Suburban 1 American Conference. There's 3 conferences in Suburban 1.
Right.
This is the American Conference. 4 teams were tied for first place. All 4 of those teams were involved in games with each other. So Hatboro Horsham played PW, Plymouth White Marsh, and the other 2 teams that were tied were Upper Dublin and Springfield Monco, as opposed to Springfield Delco. And so Upper Dublin played Springfield,
Yep.
and Hatboro Horsham played PW. Hatboro Horsham won the game.
We should note that Upper Dublin beat Springfield Monco 5-2.
Right, so Upper Dublin and Hatboro Horsham are now tied for first place. PW drops to 3-2, and Springfield Monco drops to 3-2.
Right.
All 4 good records. The PW game, the Hatboro Horsham PW game was 2-1, the final, obviously in favor of the Hatters, and the goals were scored in the 17th minute here. I have some notes on this, and took the ball on a long pass, and it doesn't really matter that much. But anyway, it was 2-1,
Yeah.
and that's how it ended. So now we have a little separation in
Yeah.
the standings.
Yeah, the 2
but
teams
4
at the
very good
top
teams,
and
yeah.
2 teams a little bit below suffering those losses. So I mean, it's always nice to get a little bit of a gap. But
And they will get to see each other again.
Oh,
They
yeah.
play each other twice.
They play each other twice.
So
right.
they get another look. So as a coach, they will get an opportunity to make adjustments and see if they can turn those 1-goal games into in their favor. And I think that'll tighten things up in that league. That conference is very strong and it's very competitive, which makes them tough teams when they come out in the district.
And I get the feeling that these games could have gone either way,
yeah,
even though Upper Dublin did win 5-2.
yeah. I mean that's kind of a statement sort. I mean, there are a couple. I didn't see the game, so a couple of the goals could have been lucky or something. But you know, a 5-2 win sort of sends a message. Hey,
Yeah.
we're pretty good.
We'll have to see how they play against the other 2 teams
Yeah.
and matchups and see if they match up different styles of play too with their coaches.
So we're going to move to District 3 here quickly and look at Middletown versus Camp Hill. It was a 2-0 win for Middletown.
Yeah.
Again, what about that game what stuck out to you?
Well, that was a game that was Camp Hill was a defending state champion,
Right.
undefeated, and Middletown hung with them. The Middletown Blue Raiders hung with the state champion, defending state champion, for most of the game. The goals were scored late.
Right.
It was a 2-0 game. So Middletown hung in there. Middletown is now 6-1.
Yeah.
So they're having a great season.
That's their 1 defeat.
Yeah, that is their 1 defeat, and Camp Hill remains undefeated.
And again, you hang with a team like that, and you're probably playing a lot of defense. You're on your heels, and maybe they break the pressure late. But you can learn from that as a team and rebound back 2-0, and could go either way. And if they got a goal early, it could have changed that outlook or the outcome of that game.
Right.
So again, that's another team. They're going to play each other twice.
Yeah.
This is early in the season, so they're going to get another look at them. And who knows? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And they're having a great start of the year. 6-1. That's
It's a great start.
Yeah.
They have a goalie named Tommy Lee, made 12 saves, and Camp Hill goalie made 6 saves. So evidently, there was some action back there with the goalkeeper for Middletown. But look, losing 2-0 is not a big deal. And then they beat Big Spring 4-0 right after that. So they're 6-1 again. So they're hanging in there in District 3, and very happy for that squad.
So we're going to move on to a team that we talked about episode 1, episode 2. You know, a team we were really excited about and just hasn't lived up to expectation, and that's Lower Dauphin.
Also out of District 3.
Also out of District 3. You said, I mean, they're a team ranked top 5 in the nation in the preseason poll, look really good, and, had a slow start, but they're starting to rebound. What about them makes you think their rebound will continue, or do you think they'll return to the slow start?
Oh, I definitely think that they will get better as they go along. I mean, they're kind of look. They were ranked very high. They were undefeated last year. They were a top squad, state champions, and so on. It's kind of like the Hurricane. It gets stronger when it goes over warm water.
Right.
Well, they're playing some teams that they kind of wiped up. Harrisburg doesn't put up much of a battle here, 9-0.
Yeah.
Harrisburg doesn't put much effort into their soccer.
Yeah.
They're more basketball, football program. Clearly, they beat Palmyra 3-2, and they beat Mechanicsburg 6-0 their last 3 games.
Yes.
And they have a couple
Well, they get
rematches here.
Yes, they get Hershey and CD East. Hershey on September 26th and CD East on September 28th. That's a tough week.
Yeah.
Yes, it
And
is.
these are their 2 losses, if I'm looking at this correctly.
That
and
is
that's
correct, yeah.
Again, they get the rebound back from them. You get a second chance, and that could make things tighter.
I'm sure that'd be a nice, 2 nice revenge wins for.
I'm sure.
I have a feeling Lower Dolphin's going to give them a real good game, and you may see a different outcome in those particular games than in the preceding ones, in the previous ones. So right now, CD East is in the top of the Keystone Conference,
Right.
Keystone Division of the Mid-Penn Conference. Hershey's right after them. They're both undefeated, 4-0-1 in league, and then Lower Dolphin is coming right back into it at 3-2, and everybody kind of falls off after that.
Right.
So that's where that stands.
Right. So we're going to move on to the Philadelphia Catholic League. Right
know them well.
Right down the street
Yes.
from us. It's a tight battle at the top. You have 2 4-0 teams in LaSalle and Roman, and then you have 2 3-1 teams with Ryan and Wood. It's got to be a little tight up
Still
there. for
tight.
them.
Some of the teams haven't met each other. Things are going to start separating themselves in the next 7 to 10 days when you start meeting certain teams. And we have O'Hara on tomorrow, and we have Prep on Tuesday. I was at the Prep Roman game, which I think we're going to talk about later.
Yep.
Tomorrow night, Judge and Roman play. So you have some quality Catholic
good
games
game.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Romans 4-0.
yes, they are.
Judges 3-1. Two
Judge-
traditionally good programs.
Last year's semifinal game.
That's tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Judge.
Maybe I'll go. Okay, it's right around the corner for
Yeah.
me. Okay.
That should be a real good contest tomorrow
Yes.
night. Another good contest should be Prep versus Ryan next week.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
What kind of preparations are you making? I'm not trying to get too much into your strategy.
Well,
but-
it's so Coach Coyle is in his first year there. Coach Coyle was at Episcopal when I was a girls coach at Ryan, and him and I would always have a little side wager, loser by Santucci's. That bet has already been placed. So him and I are looking forward to it. And he's having a great season. He had a great day. His boys played well against Roman, real tough. They went down 1-0 early, and they battled. It was a great Catholic League game, and they went back and forth, had some chances. They hit the crossbar late, could have tied it. Again, then he has a tough game with Bonner where he goes down 1-0 early and he has to fight to tie it up 1-1. And again, Bonner's no walkover. They're another team that's coming in with some competition and some players there. So I'm looking forward to the Prep game. They play a lot of soccer. They like to play out of the back and they like to play quality soccer. I know how with Joe will have them prepared and they'll be under the lights at Ryan. So it should be a fun night.
Yeah.
Not looking too far ahead of O'Hara tomorrow, though.
No.
No, you never look ahead.
So,
But it is a big game coming up, and you're under the lights. It's exciting.
it's
There's,
fun.
there's nothing like a game under the lights this year. Just a
You
great,
draw a
great
nice crowd.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
And then there's also Roman playing Bonner Prendy next week.
Yeah.
So these games are Tuesday, am I reading that
These
right?
are the Tuesday games.
Right, those are the
Yes.
Tuesday games, those are the Friday games. Yeah. So we have LaSalle versus Bonner Prendy, Roman versus Judge, that's tomorrow night, and then next week is the Prep against you,
Yes.
and Roman against Bonner Prendy. Those are the big games.
Big
Yes.
games.
Yeah.
All games we should check out.
Yeah,
if you're not coaching it.
You're even like tomorrow. Wood's playing Lansdale. Lansdale's sitting at 1-3 in league play, and Lansdale was a quarterfinal team last year,
Yeah,
and they
right.
went far in their AA at the time. I think last year and went on a little state run. Again, they're a new coach. He's starting to figure things out. That could be a tough game for Wood. That's another one to keep an eye on to see how that result shows up.
Right.
There's a lot of good soccer in the Catholic League, a lot of competitive soccer games.
There's a lot of parity.
Yes.
I mean, even though you're seeing, like you mentioned, Lansdale Catholic 1-3, you cannot look.
No,
past
there's that's a one-goal game. That's
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So
And,
we'll see what happens.
Anything could happen. That's right. Yeah.
Well, so we're going to move on, get out of the PCL. We're going to talk about Upper Perk versus Phoenixville. Now, before this game, Phoenixville was undefeated. We're having a real strong season, and Upper Perk beat them 1-0.
I believe this is actually Perk Valley.
Perk
Two
Valley.
different schools.
Oh.
Yes.
I know it's confusing. It is confusing
There-
to a lot of people. It's Perk Valley,
Perk Valley.
versus Upper Perk. So
In our
this is Perk Valley.
pregame,
Yeah.
you told me one thing.
I know, I know
Our
it is.
producer told
Yeah.
me another thing. I had Perk
That's
Valley
right.
written and scribbled out the valley and
And
put
then I
it
made
over.
you spell Perky on it.
Yeah.
No,
But
It's fine.
a great contest. You said they scored early, and then
Right.
what happened in the game?
So Phoenixville was undefeated.
Right.
Look, this is what they call the Pioneer Athletic Conference.
Yeah.
It's a little bit northwest of the city. Phoenixville was undefeated prior to the game. They were 6-0, 7-0, I believe it was. 7-0. They play in the PAC, Pioneer Athletic Conference, Frontier Division. Park Valley plays in the PAC Liberty Division. So there's it's a division crossover there. Phoenixville was undefeated. Only 1 goal was scored in this game, and it was scored in the first minute of the game.
Right.
So sometimes that type of thing happens. Like maybe a team, they get all psyched out, and then they kind of get on the field, and they're just, for some reason, they just don't acclimate to the early part of a game. And
if you don't match the other team's intensity, you don't match their
quickly.
will, or I mean, you could be late getting off the bus, and that's and we use that saying in coaching. Guys, we got to be ready to play. We got to get our warm up, how we practice, how we prepare, and that happens. And then now you're playing uphill, and it's a tough. Like you can see, go down 1 goal early against a tough team in your a conference rival or a cross conference rival.
Just a different division.
And you see the result.
They know each other.
Yeah, they play that game 10 times. One team might win each time 5. So
for a goal to be scored in the first minute, and then you go 79 more minutes with nothing, 79 plus.
Have you ever had someone score against you in the first minute, or have you ever scored against someone in the first minute?
I've seen both happen.
Yeah.
I've experienced it as a player. I've experienced it as a coach.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes it goes against you. It's just in football they say if you get the first touchdown, you might be in for a long night. The other team might wake up. So sometimes it goes the other way. You score that first goal and actually you lost 5-1. So you want to. So it could go either way. But it's a tough when you're not prepared, and if they catch you off guard and then you got to battle to get that goal back, you're fighting for it. They're the tougher ones because then you could have a great 79 minutes, but if I only had that 1 minute back, we're playing overtime, and that's a different.
Must have been an interesting day there. I mean, it was a baseball game the other day. The Phillies played. The first 2 batters hit home runs.
And that's it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
The Phillies ended up winning the game.
If you got your late seat, you did.
It happens in every sport. But that's what happened in the Park Valley Phoenixville game, and that was the Pac-10 they call it, I think.
Curious to see how those teams go throughout the season too. See if they can keep that undefeated record. See if they can,
Yeah.
We'll keep our eye on them. But moving on to Central Dauphin East, your brother Kapp had interviewed, talked to the team. What can you tell me about East?
I'm sending my brother out as a reporter.
I love it.
It's a good move.
I love it.
Put him to
We're
work.
actually identical twins, so if I brought him on the show, it would look like a miracle.
We'd have some issues because I'd be saying Kapp and you both respond to it.
There you go.
He's L Cap.
That makes it so much easier.
Like ELKAPP. L Cap. He actually has a car license plate that says L Cap. Yeah. But my brother's a very savvy soccer guy.
Right.
Not only was he a coach, we talked about he was the coach in Middletown for a number of years and had some success, but he's also been an official, a referee for, I'm going to say 35 to 40 years, something like that. Right. He knows soccer. My brother knows soccer.
So what about East?
So he went to the CD East. Actually, he was at a different game, and the CD East boys were there.
Yeah.
So he says, "Let me go interview them for my brother."
Right.
For the show.
Yeah.
So he just spoke to a couple of them. One boy was Brian Rotherham. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And the other one is Hassam Ali, who's the junior goalkeeper. Now, Hassam has only let up 2 goals in 7 games. That's really good.
Impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah,
I'm sure any coach would love to have a guy like that. And according to Hassam Ali, he's saying they're better this year, and I'll quote him, because we play as a team, we have better passing, more time of possession, more role players, and less hot shots.
Yeah.
So evidently there might have been some issues last year, I don't know, with some personality conflicts. And then Rotherham says there's no troublemaker. So he reiterated what Ali said. Defense wins, championships are developed from a mentality. These kids are smart.
Yeah.
That's a good quote.
These are good kids saying the right things at the right times. This early in the season to say those things and getting along that well.
Now they beat Lower Dauphin.
That's a great.
Yeah. I know.
They beat Lower Dauphin.
I know if I had been interviewed when I was in high school, I would not have said those smart. Even now, I'm not sure I'd say those smart
Team
things.
first mentality. That means that coach is doing the right stuff.
Yeah.
He has his players buying into a system and a way to play and play the right way.
That family, that attachment, and if they win or even if they don't win, they never forget it. Those are their buddies I mean, you remember the guys you played with in high school.
These are
I'm
guys.
still friends with the guys I played with in high school.
These
still-
guys
we still
will
talk.
stand next to you at your weddings. Will be there at the toughest of times.
One of my
and the best
teammates
of
ran
times.
for mayor of Philadelphia.
It's impressive, and you sure you got your vote.
Oh, he definitely got my vote. Yeah. Al Tolbenberg. Yeah. He was a good man. I mean, he was a sub on the team, but we stayed friends for years and years, and here we are 45 years later, and we're still friends.
With athletics.
And we still talk about getting together with the team wherever they are. But anyway, they beat Lower Dauphin. He said the feeling was indescribable. This is Rotherham, I'm quoting.
Yeah.
It was indescribable. LD heavily favored, Lower Dauphin heavily favored. Everyone thought that they would win the game, and it was a tremendous feeling. So the kids are very excited.
Yeah.
Their new goals are to win the Keystone Division of the Mid-Penn Conference and move on to the district in the States.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody wants to do the same thing. Victory over Central Dauphin, which is their sister school,
Yeah.
1-0. Also a very big victory for
They're,
CDs.
they're off to a great start, and they
Yeah.
have some great goals. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned for the
Back
second.
with the girls, right?
Yeah, we're coming back with the girls here on In the Goal.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY EASY.
Welcome back to In the Goal. I'm your host, Stephen Schreiber, joined by Jack Kapp, Ryan Haney. Fellas, we had a great half talking about the boys soccer. It's time to move on to the girls soccer, and we're gonna start in a similar way, talking about the top 10 teams in the state, big teams, large school teams. Figuring out how to say that correctly.
Well, they're the big schools. In other words,
Yes.
they're
Big schools.
the Quad A schools,
Right.
basically.
And these rankings
Yeah.
come from the Pennsylvania State Coaches Association, and they have Norwin ranked at the top, a team we've talked about plenty. They're ranked number 1 in the nation on the Fab 50 top drawer soccer poll. So I mean, still both teams are number 1 in the nation. Fantastic for the state of Pennsylvania in soccer. But moving on, Springford ranked number 2, Conestoga ranked 3rd, Cumberland Valley 4th, Peters Township, Moon, Parkland, Conestoga Valley, Cannon McMillan, and Manheim Township rounding out the top 10. Wouldn't it be quite the feat if Conestoga had the number 1 team on the boys and the number 1 team in the girls in the state? That would
they
be
won the
rad.
state championship.
Yeah,
that would be
that
quite
would
an
be
accomplishment.
impressive for that school. I'm sure they're both the boys and the girls team are talking to each other right now. Boys
And I'm sure they support each other.
Oh,
too.
I'm sure.
I would think
I'm
that
sure.
that the boys come out to see the girls if they can,
Oh,
and the
absolutely.
girls come out to see the boys.
I mean, that's you'd hope so. I mean,
unless they're running a practice at
Oh,
the same
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm sure the school spirit is high right now, and I'm sure they're having a lot of fun. Again, Conestoga's 5-0-1. The boys are 6-0, or no?
yeah, they are 6-0. I mean, just off to
Two undefeated teams.
Yeah,
It's
great.
impressive. If you look at the girls, the first 7 teams are all undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, some familiar teams in there.
Some
You
of
see
them,
Moon,
Parkland,
Parkland,
right?
Cumberland Valley,
Yeah.
Conestoga, Norwin, Springford, who I met in the playoffs a few years ago. That knocked
beautiful
us out.
building.
Oh, it's a great school.
It's a great place. Yeah.
We had them travel to Northeast to play us, and they beat us 1-0 in the opening round of the States the one year.
At the
Springford.
Northeast Super Site.
Yeah, I remember the coach. He's like, my players never seen row houses.
I know.
It's like-
And I grew up in one. To me, it's just how everybody lived. But yeah, when they're coming from, that's kind of a country area out the Springford area. Would you call it?
I mean,
It's beyond suburbs, right?
but a school of grind to play Springford,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
to see that these teams are repeatedly in the top 10
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
still competing at that level,
I mean, that
it's impressive.
Speaks to not only the players but also the coaching that they're receiving. That the coaches can maintain the level of the team even when star players
Move
leave throughout
on,
the
yeah.
year.
And once again, A lot of these teams are from southeastern Pennsylvania.
Again,
Once again.
District 1, District 3,
It's just-
District 1, 7th.
I mean,
Three.
we'd like to talk about top teams all over the state, but
Sorry.
when they're close to home, they're close to home. Kapp, you said
We should be proud.
you had some nice inside information on Norwin.
Yeah, I looked into Norwin a little bit here.
I mean, we know their goalkeeper is
yeah.
going to play at Ohio next year.
Right, that would be
Our-
Samantha Wexel. We
Yeah,
spoke about
yeah.
her previously.
Yep.
They actually have 4 top players.
Yep.
Kendra Pampas is a midfielder. She's committed to Indiana University.
Wow.
Okay, that's Division I, obviously. Marissa Boyer is a forward, not committed yet, but probably will be a D1 player.
Right.
Emily Harrigan is a forward, Rutgers commit.
Wow.
I assume these are verbal commits. Maybe I don't know how they work it exactly. And we mentioned Samantha Wexel is the Ohio U goalkeeper who has not let up a goal until
They let up one goal.
One goal.
And a 2-1, one goal. I mean, if your goalkeeper lets
Yeah.
up one goal in 6 or 7 games, I think you're doing something.
it was in the
right.
second half of the Seneca Valley game.
Yeah.
And it was the first goal she's allowed all season. I'm sure she was very upset about
I'm sure
that.
she was.
It's another quality
She
program.
probably cried for at least 30 seconds after the game.
Are these 4 seniors?
I'm not sure. I think Boyer is an underclass
Gotcha.
student. Yeah, in
4
other words,
Division
11th grader. I think.
4 Division 1 players.
How about that?
In your
Yeah.
high school squad?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to beat when you.
And there may be a couple of others, like sophomores and
Yeah.
juniors, that
Yeah.
we don't know that could end up being Division I players.
So
And
impressive.
something's going on out there in Norwin. I don't know the school. I've never been to that area, but I'm sure we'll be seeing them in the States and hearing all about
Oh,
them.
I'm sure we're going to continue to cover them
Yeah,
each week.
it's exciting. Yeah.
I mean, when you're number 1 in the nation, you have to talk about
Yeah.
it. They're I mean,
Keep
it's,
checking
I'm
in to
glad
see
you
how they're
discovered
doing.
them.
yeah, they're
yeah.
fantastic.
A couple of weeks ago, yeah. Because I had
Oh.
never heard of them, honestly.
It's
before that.
I'm from New Jersey, so I haven't heard of most of the schools we talk about. But
We'll let you hang out.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So we're going to move on into Suburban 1 and talk about Upper Dublin versus Abington. Laura Pendleton scored the only goal for Upper Dublin.
Look at it.
It's
OD.
I mean, that's just it's in a 1-0 game. You know, one small mistake or one right move can make the difference. What happened in this game?
Well, evidently, I didn't see the game, but
Right.
it's a Suburban 1, American division for Upper Dublin,
Right.
National division for Abington. So again, they're crossing over a little.
Upper Dublin is number 1 in the American.
They are
Division.
number 1. Okay, all right. It's the Cardinals versus the Galloping Ghosts.
Yeah.
I always
Yep.
love the Galloping Ghosts of Abington. And the goal was by Laura Pendleton late in the game. So it's just a 1-0 game. No opponent has scored more than 1 goal against Upper Dublin this entire season.
Wow, that is
Which is something to note.
That
It's
speaks
impressive.
to their defense.
It is, yeah.
I mean, that's
Strong goalkeeping, strong
Yeah.
defenders.
It's a quality game there. And Abington's led by Rick Tompkins. He's a good long-time coach here, long-time UPISA guy. He knows soccer, knows it well, and I'm sure his team was organized. And again, they'll be fighting with this team again and to be in the district playoffs at the end. And I'm sure we'll see these 2 teams be mentioning them later on in the season.
Yeah, it looks like 2 teams that will be in the States most likely, at least the districts, and
Yeah.
we'll be hearing from them again.
yeah. And then we're going to move on to another Suburban 1 matchup. It was Council Rock South defeating North Penn 2-1, and Paige McCullough took it upon herself, scoring 2 goals.
One on
You
each
know,
half.
Yeah, and Council Rock South is number 1 or in first place in the national division. So I mean, they're fighting. They're going strong.
It's another nice soccer area. Nick Himes doing a great job with that program.
Yeah.
We played CR South in the States a few years ago. They were led by Kimmy Francis, and Nick at the time was the assistant.
Right.
Nick's a soccer guy. His dad's a longtime soccer ref, Bud Heim. His brother Mike Heim played at
Oh,
LaSalle.
I was friends with him.
Yes,
I know Bud. Okay,
so it's his
yeah.
son. And,
he was in my chapter for years.
And Nick's
Okay.
runs a great program there. And again, he's doing well with them ladies.
Yeah.
And I'm sure CR South will go on a run. And
Yeah, I mean they're might be undefeated or might have 1 loss, but a strong program right now.
teams like that will meet like Conestoga in the District 1 playoffs, and you'll see these teams battle it out to see where they fall in seeding for the states, and then we'll go from
Another
there.
beautiful school, that CR South.
Oh.
I mean, when you see these schools out in these areas and you just go, it looks like a college.
facilities.
It's like a college campus. It really is beautiful.
You pull into Conestoga Stadium,
I have
They
not
have,
been there.
so they have a soccer-specific stadium.
Really?
Yes, no football lines on their turf fields, and
Those lines can be confusing.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous place to play a high school soccer game.
We should get to a game. In fact, I'm going to start looking to see if I can get to a game.
You got to watch the boys and the girls, both highly ranked in the
yes,
state
that's right.
and the nation.
That's
So
right.
we're going to move on to the Philadelphia Catholic League on the girls'
On
side.
the girls' side.
The team you used to coach, the girls' side of Archbishop Ryan, 4-0, off to a great start. But I mean, the Philadelphia Catholic League is competitive right now. There's 4 4-0 teams. Cardinal O'Hara, Lansdale Catholic, and St. Hubert's are all 4-0, all off to great starts this year. Is there any team you think that could separate themselves from the other?
There's a
three?
big game going on right now as we're we're live. Lansdale's playing Archbishop Ryan.
Okay.
So one of them will hopefully we'll see what comes in there.
Somebody will get a loss.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're both undefeated.
Or a tie.
Well, a tie, that's right. That's right.
But there's again these girls teams, the ones you're naming. O'Hara is relatively new to this list. If they can maintain it, that'd be great to see them at the end. Little Flower and Wood are probably sitting right in a spot where they're going to make a jump at some of these teams again. When Ryan and Wood play each other, that'll be another 1-goal game.
Yeah, that's coming up next week, or I believe this.
Did we say?
I double-starred that game. It's on 9/25,
Perfect.
September 25th, because that is a traditional great game, as you well know.
We played them so many times.
We
in my
covered your
time,
games,
yeah.
SFBN, we broadcast the games, and they were very exciting.
I
two
would
of
say
them. I think we did
90% of those games in my 11 years, they were all 1-0.
Yeah.
Whether it was him or
Just great
Kapp or
games.
myself taking care of the girls. And again, there's a lot of soccer at Wood, and there's still a lot of soccer at Ryan. And Jonathan Geis is doing an amazing job with the girls program. Again, him and I still speak frequently. And he's excited about his girls. They're really playing tough right now. They had a great game against Penn Charter where they lost 1-0, and since then have gone on a little bit of a run here, and they're scoring goals. They're not letting up goals, and they're getting big goals from some of their senior players and some girls that were part of the runs when we won championships there. Some of these seniors now are there's 4 of them that were there when we won 4 in a row.
Right.
So he's known them for a while. And again, they're playing a great game right now. I could probably get an update if we want.
We could probably go on the cell phone and get an
Right?
update, yeah. I'm sure it's being tweeted out.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
Somewhere in the Twitterverse.
Yeah.
Is that what they
Even
call
I've
it?
heard of that game coming from New Jersey.
It's
so
a great game.
it's,
I enjoyed broadcasting it. I enjoyed being there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great feel. It's a great atmosphere.
And you'll see, again, Wood's got a new coach this year. He's been part of the program for a long time, but Dan Fennell, Judge Fennell's in his first year as head coach
He
there.
was the assistant or
Yes.
JV coach.
JV, and then he was assistant varsity for some years. But he's been part of, in Capo's realm. Again, it'll be exciting to see him in his first debut under the lights as the head man in charge, because they're coming to Ryan this year.
It has become. It's become a traditional, great rivalry between these two teams.
The kids get excited for it. And the school
Wood
gets excited.
Wood is excellent, and Ryan under you was also very, very good team.
So just stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we will. We'll definitely be talking about that game this time next week. So moving on to the Springside Chestnut Hill versus Penn Charter game. You said it was a great game. Springside Chestnut Hill has been a good team all season long. I think we looked at their scores very briefly.
Springside Chestnut Hill, relatively new coach, Maria DeGeorge, going against a friend of hers, another Northeast girl, Darcy Borski, who's at Penn Charter as the head coach.
Sound familiar.
And again, Maria played at Ryan, and she was a great midfielder for Coach Eddie Lee. And Darcy went to Nazareth, was an All-American at UVA.
Oh, wow.
And again, this is a dominated rival by Penn Charter for the last couple of years, Interact champs and things like that. And Springside's kind of been on the bottom of the Interact. That's a huge victory for them, 4-0. I know McNesby had to have one of those goals. I think they put 1 in the first half and 3 in the second half. And again, then they're on that high, and we look them up, and the next day they go 2-1 to GA. So the Interact is very competitive right now.
We looked at their scores right before the game. It was like 4-0, 8-0, 8-0, and then this 4-0 shutout. Yeah. And then I don't know what happened in the
GA game.
The GA game, but a 2-1 loss. They hadn't allowed a goal all game or all season, and all of a sudden they take the loss, which is unfortunate. But I'm
sure Maria will get them rebounded back, and they will play each other twice, and they'll get to see each other again. We'll have to keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on the Interact.
There's only 6 teams in the Interact.
Yeah, it's very it's a small
6.
Yes.
So they play each other twice.
Home and away.
Yeah, home and away.
And it gets some hype when Penn Charter and GA, the PGA Day, and you get some quality soccer.
They are not part of the PIAA.
They're not.
And do we know the reason? Why is that?
So they are a private school, and they run their
private league.
Yes, they run their own state title with the
PIAA.
yes.
Oh, that's
see?
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. They just started that a couple years ago.
Yes,
am I right?
relatively New Jersey does something somewhat similar.
Prep A, Prep B,
This
different.
is the independent school.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not too familiar with who's been the state.
PAISSA. I think it
Gotcha.
is. So yeah.
Again,
like Westtown,
Yep.
the Hill School.
Hampton Friends
I mean,
Central.
yeah, all those schools
Yeah.
are eligible. And,
Some quality soccer.
well, it's good that they get to play for a state title.
Yeah, they get some to
I
compete.
mean, it'd be disappointing if you don't get to, I mean, always looked, well, I was a cross country runner, I always looked forward to the state meet. We never were competing quite at the top of the level in my 4 years. I just missed out on that before and after. But
Second,
I mean, competing at the state, and you always want to be able to say, oh, I was the state champion or
Yep.
something.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
now you're going back to
Whatever sport it is.
The Catholic League didn't become part of the PIAA until 2008.
I was going to say 2008. I think the pub came in first in 2004. They weren't eligible for the state playoffs until 2005.
Gotcha.
So there was a transition year, and then the Catholic League, I always thought it was reluctantly, but they did come in.
Yes, they did.
I was actually surprised when they came in, but I was surprised when the pub came in.
I mean, going back to my playing days, when I played, we won the Catholic League title, and that was
That
it.
was the end of it.
Season's over.
And you could not play
States.
the pub. You couldn't play the pub. In my time,
There was no city championship.
and I know the reason for that, but it's a long story. But anyway, the pub would play the Catholic League in every sport, but it was male sports.
Gotcha.
See, when I was a kid, it was different.
Yeah.
The girls basically were told they were too delicate. That's what they were told, and
Well-
they bought
Which
into
we
it.
all know that's not true.
No, it's not true. There was a lawsuit in 1979, and that ended. It ended all the city championships
Gotcha.
until just a couple of years ago. When you guys got back into PIAA, they reinstituted the,
City championship.
and it's been great. Now they play it at all the different classification levels.
Yep. District
Yeah.
12's they
It's great.
considered a city championship.
Yeah.
With the final team, we're gonna look at Cumberland Valley.
Cumberland Valley.
You know, we were gonna talk to somebody else, and you said
Right,
no. We
that's
have
right.
to talk
Well,
about Cumberland Valley.
yeah, we
They're
were-
a very good team.
Yeah, we were going to
Four.
talk about another team out there, but Cumberland Valley is undefeated. Now we're talking District 3. So just to place them, like we like to do here, the Commonwealth Division of the Mid-Penn Conference in District 3, which is out a bit to our west. So they're undefeated. They are 5-0, 4-0 in conference. They pretty much crushed everybody, 3 goals against and a whole bunch of goals
Yeah.
for. So they're Cumberland Valley's on top. Central Dauphin is right behind them at 6-1. Carlisle 5-2. State College, which we just discovered is in District 6.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the rest of the everybody else is in District 3 there, but so there are some big games coming up.
Yes.
So that's tonight, right? September 21st is tonight,
Yep.
and they are playing Carlisle.
Yeah.
So
So
Carlisle's at
7-3.
5-2. Cumberland Valley at 5-0.
Big
Big game tonight.
Big game tonight.
And then a couple more down the road, they have to face Cedar Cliff, Central Dauphin, State College. Those are all the teams that are on top of that division. So Cumberland Valley girls, a traditional power out in
Yeah.
District 3.
And they're continuing that. being
We'll
Yes,
keep,
they
a-
are.
we'll keep our eye on them also.
We are going to go to a quick commercial break before we give you our final thoughts. Stay tuned here on In the Goal.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Welcome back to In the Goal. I'm your host, Stephen Schreiber, joined by Kapp, Ryan, Haney. Fellas, end of the show. What are some of your final thoughts? What are you looking forward to? What happened in the? I mean, what about the standings have made you? Or what?
Well,
what
I
are some of
want to
your
get out
thoughts?
to some more games.
Right.
So what I did was I took my calendar out the other day, and I started putting down all the games I want to go to.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this season,
Yeah.
and it's always better to be at the game
Yeah.
than to talk about a game that you read about
Yeah.
elsewhere. So when I was at Archbishop Ryan's game the other day, Holy Ghost, even though I was working, taking pictures and all, you get a much better feel for the game.
Absolutely.
So I want to get to a Conestoga game. I want to get to some of these games locally that.
We might have to take a road trip out to Norwin to catch.
You
some
know,
of that.
it's a little bit of a ride. I'm
Yeah.
thinking 5.5 hours.
Oh,
but-
you know, I think we'd have a great time. You know, just
yeah.
we'll talk
It's a
about
possibility.
Take the show on the road.
Or we could wait till they get into the States
Right, right.
or whatever the case may be. But
think-
I would like to see them,
yeah.
yeah.
Ryan.
Again, we're in the middle of our season with the Catholic League, and again, I'm going to leave here and go catch the end of the Lansdale Ryan game on my way home. Tomorrow I'll be in O'Hara in the afternoon, and at night I'll be at Father Judge watching Judge play Roman.
Yeah.
So, like, I think we said this 2 weeks ago. The show, like, the season happens so fast. You're on such a
We were
high.
talking about that, yeah.
It's just such an enjoyment for me. I mean, everyone's like, you're running. I love watching these games. I love getting to know these kids and see them play and see how they handle the pressures and see how they respond, the ups and downs from losses and wins, and see how they carry themselves.
Right.
So that's why I like seeing these young athletes competing at a high level. And
What's the best part of coaching? For me, I'll tell you what it is for me. I coach baseball. The best part is when you teach them something and they actually do it in a game. And then you see them grow up, you see them mature, and it's almost like you're a proud father. It's a great feeling.
when you get those little
you
moments,
get that feeling?
whether they see the bell went off, something they learned, something they put together.
taught them,
Yeah.
or that you drill.
And maybe they think they figured it out on their own. But either way, and however you got to that end result,
And
to
sometimes
see
they
that,
thank you.
Yeah, well, but to see that come together, and I also enjoy the friendships they make with each other. We were talking how those long-time friendships you make on the field. And that's one of the things I preach is that we're like an extended family at Archbishop Ryan, and I know a lot of other coaches do that well, and that's the great programs that you see kids come back to watch your teams play. And, hey, coach, how you doing? Who's this kid? And they come up, they introduce themselves to different kids.
Right.
So that's the enjoyment part about soccer in this high school season, and I'm looking forward to it. The Catholic League should be strong, and there's a lot of other great soccer out there in the other districts and the other leagues.
And again, relish it because it goes by so fast.
It's gone.
It is. That 10 weeks is gone. It just, bang, it comes and goes.
We'll be doing indoor workouts in no time and preparing for next year.
Well, thanks for joining me here tonight. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Steve.
it. Had a great time. For all our viewers, check out thesfbn.com to check out stories written by Kapp and our other writers about games happening not only in soccer but about football and other sports.
I feel like a reporter. I feel like a regular newspaper reporter.
On Monday,
Yeah.
we have a football show in the trenches, 7 o'clock on Facebook Live. You can catch it on YouTube. Great show.
We also have Varsity Voice.
We also have Varsity Voice airing on Wednesday.
It used to be on regular television. Now we brought it into the studio.
Yep.
It's being streamed live just like us.
Yeah.
And they
So-
cover all the sports.
So I mean, we got a great lineup for you here on SFBN. For Kapp, Ryan Haney, I'm Stephen Schreiber. This has been In the Goal. Have a great Thursday night.
Good stuff.